All right, perfect timing, and I'm excited to be able to get everything going today. I'm going to start sharing the screen, and as everybody enters the room, feel free to say hello. Let me know where you're from. We're going to spend about the next 30 to 35 minutes or so going over some things that are going to help you turn your seemingly pointless marketing efforts into real life profits. Now, we're going to go into some stuff that's more advanced, maybe for a few of you, and we're going to keep it simple for everybody that's on here today, because there's really no hidden reason why you're here. The real reason is because you've tried marketing, you've got a system set up possibly, but it's not producing consistent results. It's not producing the consistency and the predictability that you really need as a business owner, more so what you deserve. I mean, so many business owners are failing left and right, and it's because of systems. So what I did is wanted to present to you a five-step process that I follow to not just get you the profits once, but over and over again. And we're going to go into this pretty quickly. So this is why you're here today, so that you can stop really burning the cash. A lot of clients that come to us have a bad experience with the previous company. Now, the stats show that you've got about a 63% to 68% chance of choosing a bad company, a poor egg in the mix, right? And what happens a lot of the time is they end up really hurting more than just the business's brand. They hurt the account, the resources, and that causes damage in future growth. So what we want to do, we want to stop burning money, and we want to start living in the reward, right? Basking in it. And the way that we're going to do that is by having the systems set up that are going to create the predictable growth that we need for our business to grow to the level that we see it. Now, it's important you pay close attention today because you will learn the process to experiencing predictable and scalable growth each month. We're going to go into the prep work. Everything that goes into a successful sales and marketing campaign, you're going to get to see the entire build out and process today. The execution, right? So, how to do it, not just what goes into it, but how to accomplish this objective so that you're not left stranded at the end of the day thinking, where did my marketing money go? Because I want to make a quick point. The marketing dollars that you're investing to promote your business, the marketing dollars that you're using, it's actually the marketing never sees a return, quote unquote. It's the sales process that can actually make the marketing profitable. So we're going to get into that today so that you don't waste your efforts on your marketing when in fact it could just be the sales process and vice versa. It could be both, right? I don't want to jump to conclusions. It could be just terrible right now and the results could just be abysmal. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You're here, you're learning, and I applaud you for that. So the last thing we're going to be focusing on is the ongoing effort. How do we keep the results going? I've got campaigns running right now that have not been touched for over 18 months, or I should say, very minimal, right? Very minimal. But you're able to scale up as far as you want, keep them on for as long as you want because of the way we do the prep work. And you're going to get to see how we start all that off. So, who's going to benefit the most from this today, though? Well, basically, if you're a business owner who is looking for a proven solution to inconsistent growth, then you're going to love what I show you. Stick around to the end. Here's some proof, though, so that you know I'm not wasting your time today. I've wasted my time in the past on trainings and never really got anything but a lame pitch that was wrapped in about 10 minutes of content. So don't want to provide you with that today. I want to let you know that we've been able to get you a lot of clients results, over 206 clients now. Matt and I here goes from 37,000 in just 90 days to the same system being ran for 2 years now, over 200 grand collected. Ryan Conway, $20,500 days after becoming a client. He's still a client now after 6 years. Lakita, 677 meetings just last year selling her high ticket course. What do you think she did? Right? Amazing results, amazing woman, crushing it. She was a wedding event planner and created a course to help other wedding event planners. Katie Bentz, $125,000 in opportunities in 57 days. Lauren Messiah, $23,484 in just 8 days when we did her launch. And we followed the exact same process. Every single one of these, same process, same exact systems, different nuances. And that's what you're going to get to see, how it's different for everybody, but you get to see the fundamental similarities, which is what makes it easy for you to take information today and start to get results for your own company. And of course, Luke's story in the end, 17% increase. Now, I've got so many of these stories, so many of these winner circles that we have going on. But again, you're not here to see that. You're here to be a part of it. But how do you know you can trust me? How do you know that you can trust Brandon and Northwicks Consulting? Well, in 60 seconds or less, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get that to you. First things first is that I'm a father of three incredible children. So that is the reason why the systems have to work. Right there. I've got three kids, all under the age of 10. There's 0% chance that I'm trying to spend more time than I need to on getting my business to grow and then remain in that growth consistently. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16, but yes, unfortunately, my first job was at Little Caesars. Ooh, pizza. I launched four failing startups from 2006 to 2014. No partnership, no strategy. Literally, that is why I failed. I don't know if that sounds familiar to maybe you're in the position where you're like, I need some partnerships, I need some strategies, right? I need some of this. And if that's the case, you're going to love again what I got with you because by the time I started 2016 with Northwicks Consulting, it was with finally now much better strategy. I went through, I did the work. I actually tucked my head down, did about 3 or 4 years of real in-depth work and over about $150,000 of investments into courses and mentorship. And that allowed me to start to create the VPC method and the Northwick sales system. Now, since 2016, I've been able to work with 206 different companies, over 18 different verticals. So you know the method works. It's not some one-time thing that's going to work on Facebook after Thanksgiving or for a Black Friday special, right? This is going to work year-round consistently. And that's what business owners need nowadays. They need more consistency, a lot less risk, right? Less risk. And again, we have managed more than $1 million in advertising spend with a 98.7% success rate. So combined earnings now have led to over 8 million between my clients and my company. That's it. That's all I got for you. For me, no reason to get any more into that. Let's get started. Grab your notes because let's go ahead and get into step one. Step one is where we're going to dig in. Okay. This sheet that you're looking at, it's really 21 steps. It's a 21-day growth plan that I give everyone that I meet with before they become clients. Now, the reason is we have to understand the market, the margins, and the projections. When you're going through your build out process, a lot of times we skip this, right? This is the boring part. This is like, oh, Brandon, man, paperwork. I don't want to do the paperwork, or I've done this with other companies, or I did this 7 years ago. You've got to keep this updated and you've got to do this for every single one of your offers. The reason why is the offer is going to really be the reason why you're making money. But inside the offer, the heartbeat of the offer is the avatar. And if you don't know who you're marketing to and you don't know your margins, you'll never have realistic projections. So we have to cover market margins and projections if I ever want to give you a system that's going to be predictable and consistent, right? Now, you guys can all type in if you guys want to. One, if y'all hate collecting, reading the data, right? One is hate data. One is hate all this stuff, right? Let me know how you guys feel about looking at these kinds of reports. It's not fun. But what we do here is now with every single person that we meet with, we have an opportunity now to look at the objectives. You're going to set your objectives. We're going to create the system to hit those objectives. That's what your system should do. Thinking now in the back of your mind, what is the quality of life that you want to lead? What is the real goal of your business? Are you trying to hit 7 figures? Are you trying to add an extra 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand a year? Right? Or are you just trying to stay consistent? Like, are you like, hey, I just would love to have it sit at like 150 and just rest. One employee, no employees, right? Just let it chill. That could be a system and opportunity for you. So the goal here is not for me or my team or anybody to come into your life and tell you this is what you need. The goal is for you to sit back and go, what is it that I really want? What's my purpose? What am I really trying to accomplish here? Then you come to a professional like myself who has the track record to help it come through. Or you take a plan like this and you're like, look, I'm going to do it myself. But either way, you got to start with your objectives. Then you get to your primary customers. I'm going to share with you more in detail about how we can do that in just a second, but you want to know who you're marketing to. Then you want to match each individual one of your products to each individual one of those segments of your market. Seems pretty simple and basic, right? But a lot of people get that wrong. Then we want to be able to identify the tools that you're using. And then we get to the fun part. Off on the right, you'll see about halfway down, numbers needed for a guaranteed ROI. These numbers needed are crazy because the variables that are involved here are going to be exactly what you need to be able to produce consistent results. But so I'd say 99, I don't think I've, oh shoot, I mean, 600 meetings a year. I don't think I've met one person that's actually had their margins down pat, meaning that they understand what they're actually selling and what they're keeping from everything that they sell. So a lot of the time, consulting firms and agencies, they're going to go ahead and rob consumers from their profits, whatever that may be, because they don't understand how to ask for margins. If you have less than a certain margin, okay, if you have less than a certain margin, I won't go into specifics right now because it can confuse some folks. But if you have less than a specific margin, we can't even take you on as a client because we know that you would be negative at the end of the month if you decided to move forward. So think about that. If you're not profitable, and I mean, if you don't have the margins to support outsourcing and someone takes you on as a client, whoa, talk about shady business, right? And this is happening all the time. So I want to present to you an opportunity to say, look, okay, no, I know my numbers. I know what it takes to be profitable. And if we don't hit these numbers, then I can't have a system that's going to produce that. Then we can't do business, right? Pretty simple. So you have to know what's your 12-month goal, your average first 30 day of the investment. And this is for every product that you sell, every service that you offer. You've got to know these numbers. Now, I know I'm moving fast. Typical, it's how I roll. But if you have any questions, feel free to pop them up in the chats. Let me know how it is. I have no problem with that. The next thing we want to focus on is after you have those numbers for the guaranteed ROI, you have to start focusing on the other aspects, like we mentioned with your avatar. I'm not going to go into the specifics of how to create an avatar because all you have to do is answer this one question, everybody. Who can you help the most, the fastest? Who can you help the most, the fastest? If you're in a position to help people being a business owner, then there should be a quick answer to that. Prioritize that person that just came to the forefront of your mind on this worksheet. Then we work outward from there. You're going to pick up secondary markets and ongoing markets based on that primary. But if you don't get this right, meaning to a T, we're not, most people come to the brand. Yeah, my avatar is like 45 to 55, male, female, could be married. And I'm like, when have you ever seen a 45 to 55-year-old person? When have you ever? Right? They're always just one age. They're never a range of ages. So we've got to make sure that this person has a face, right? Is it Powerhouse Patty? Is it Reluctant Ray? Is it, who is this person? And then we want to build in a day behind it so we know exactly what their buying patterns and tendencies are. You'll see that it leads us directly to this slide here. This is the most important because now we've identified the avatar. Once we understand who it is that we're marketing to, meaning who can we help the most, the fastest, now we know exactly how to reverse engineer the entire journey for that person. So when you are taking step-by-step actions to build out your system, you can't start with the advertisement. You can't. You can't start with the funnel creation or the page building or the copywriting. You can't start with any of that. You have to start with the avatar. And as boring as it is, that's really the fun part for me. It's like getting into the head of like all these different people and trying to figure out, what is really going on in their life? What is really going on in a way that I could help them? And how can I tie that to my business as a solution? And when you have those solutions laid out exactly as you see here, don't get confused by all the shapes on the page. I want you to just focus on the green diamonds. The green diamonds are going to be, they're going to dictate, they're going to share with you exactly the stages that each person within your market is in at any given time while they're looking to do business with somebody like you. So let me say it like this. There's 5 different stages in a buying decision. Most business owners only focus on stage 5, which is the most recent, right? It's like the ones that are saying, I want to buy today. Now that seems logical as a business owner to say, I'm going to only focus on those that want to buy today. But what happens is that you end up only allowing yourself to speak to about 3% of the market. 97% of the market is in other stages. Only 1 to 3 is ever ready to say, hey, here's my credit card. Hey, I'm ready to make a decision. I've done my research. I'm ready now. So instead of focusing on the 3% of people that are going to be doing this, why not focus on the 100% of the pie, right? Forget 3%. Let's focus on 100%. The best way to do that is by understanding the stages, which equate to the levels of awareness, so that each piece of content can promote a specific offer that would be appealing to that stage. Let me again further explain. Stage 1, furthest out from doing business with you, but they are the lowest cost to acquire. Whereas stage 5, they are the ones that are ready to do business today, but those are the ones that cost the most. So, as a business owner with very little resources, most of the time, small business owners have a couple $1,000s a month in ad spend. That's normal. Well, let me ask you, with a couple $1,000s, do you want to spend a couple of grand when on something that you're not collecting leads from, something that is not generating a remarketing audience from that you're going to be able to actually afford, and is getting you to pay a premium about 500% higher than what you should? That's crazy to me. I wouldn't want to do that at all. So, what we want to do is walk them through the process. Find people who are in stage one, two, three, and four, and get them into stage five, compounding that number over and over each month. Then you're going to be able to see that with this kind of system setup, you're not only generating leads, but you're getting people to an offer. You are generating sales or meetings, whatever it is that your objective is, and you're doing it in the cost effective way. Lead generation, introduce offer through what stage two is now, demonstrations, webinars, more in depth. So think of this. When you meet somebody for the very first time, do you really want to sit down with them for an hour and a half and be like, hey, I just met you. I don't even know you. Don't really know what you could do for me. Don't really think I have a problem. Probably not. But if you were going to hand off a flyer to somebody who was like that and say, hey, here's a quick lead magnet. So, stage one, folks, lead magnet. We call it short, actionable, goal oriented, and easy to consume. So, the acronym for that is SAGE. If you are going to create this SAGE content, short, actionable, goal oriented, and easy to consume, you're going to be able to fulfill stages one desire over and over again. And these are going to be the leads that you're going to get for $2 to $5. These are the low cost leads, right? The checklists, the surveys, the toolkits, the quick lead magnets that you're going to get. Then you have stage two folks who are aware of their problem, but they need more of the solution, right? They're like, I don't really know what the solution is, but I know I got a problem, right? These are the folks that you want to spend the time demonstrating that you can do what you say you're going to do, or your product can do what it says it's going to do. And by that, I mean demonstrations, webinars, master classes, a more advanced way, a more in depth conversation. Because the stage one folks, they're driving by real quick. They're just like, imagine you being at a mall. If you could hand a flyer to somebody that as they're walking by your store, that's great. But you know they're not going to come inside until they're ready. But if you could get that in their hand, they're going to recognize you next time. They're going to know your brand. That's the goal here. Get it in their hand. Then we're going to naturally coax them through stage one to stage five. Now we see the numbers that come through here that are incredible. You can actually get someone from stage one to stage five in the first interaction. So, why aren't more business owners building out these kinds of systems? I'll be honest with you. It's because it takes a lot of work. You can see the complexity behind just the blueprint, but complexity doesn't mean difficult. Complexity doesn't have to mean hard. Complexity just means that it's very robust. A lot of moving parts, but it doesn't have to be difficult. I'm going to show you how to simplify it because we only need to choose one of these platforms after we lay out the whole process. So we've got stages laid out. We understand who is belonging to what stage. Now it's up to you to create the content. Stage one, short, actionable, goal oriented, easy to consume. Get the lead. Take them directly to stage two now if they don't buy right away through that particular part of the system. Notice each stage is a part of the system. Stages combined, whole system. Okay, that's why we call it a sales and marketing system because it's a whole bunch of things working together to produce a consistent result. So then we move to stage two. Let's say they get the lead magnet, but they don't go ahead and make that final decision. Boom, now they're going to start to see more in-depth training. Stage three, okay, I'm aware of the solution now. Let's go ahead and start hitting them with some testimonials, social proof, good stuff that people really want to see, but only care about if they're in a certain part of their buying decision. Oh man, it's crazy. It really is crazy how little intricate details about when somebody sees something can really make a difference in their buying decision. And then you get to stage four, which is just more about, hey, here's what I have to offer. This is where you can literally lay out everything. Then you got stage five, which is the direct buy now campaigns. This is where you can literally say, buy my stuff. But notice it's only 20% of the entire system. And it's only to 3% of your entire market. So we want to, as myself speaking for my company, we want to make sure that you are fully aware that that is not a good idea. That's not a good idea. And with lead gen, the number one rebuttal that we get is, well, can I really get high ticket clients? Can I sell high ticket products? Can I get more than just, looky-loos that are looking to download something? And I would say, absolutely, absolutely. We pull in probably 60%, 70% of our client base comes from lead gen. strictly. Like that's crazy, right? So pretty amazing. We've grown every year for the last 6 years too, and so much of it has came from just generating leads, and then helping them see the next step, and then being there when they're ready. So notice, lay out the entire process, no guessing. Choose the platform, and then choose the content. In the end, you're going to have something that looks like this. It's going to be an overarching view of the ads, the system, the follow up, the first part of the interaction. And we want to make sure that we're building it from the back to the front. So, just to give you an idea, when you follow the details from the design and you work your way backwards, you're going to be able to make sure everything remains congruent. Another way to say that is when you build from the front to the back, a lot of the time we just kind of build as we're going, and the message gets so screwed up. We end up saying one thing here, and then the next page it's completely off-putting or disconnected. And what happens to the consumer is they experience what's called cognitive dissonance, and we don't want that, right? We want cognitive resonance. We want to make sure that we are resonating with that, not pushing them away. And it's just a psychology standpoint, right? Where we know as marketers, what we should know, that the moment that we lose the congruency, we lose the consumer. The moment we lose the congruency, we lose the consumer. We don't want to do that. How do we make sure it stays congruent? Start from the back, work your way forward. So, what does that look like? You're going to start with the core offer. What is it that you're offering your market? The very last thing that you're offering. Then, what's the front end offer? Then, start writing the emails. Create the thank you page for that, for those two offers, right? For the core offer, for the thank you offer, for the purchase, for the order form. Now, create the sales page and create the advertisement. Now you've got the exact wording. Everything is going to write itself when you start from the back to the forward. You don't have to worry about guessing. You don't have to worry about, oh, what do I say next? You already wrote it. You already wrote it. Then take it here. Boom, 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 boom. Assembly line of copy, assembly line of building, keeping you efficient, fast, and not just that, but also it's a proven method that's going to be able to get results. So then the number one question that I usually get everybody is, well, where do I begin in the build out? How does that whole thing happen? And you'll see here in the second bullet that you want to begin this build out as if you are imagining everybody is doing what you want them to do the very first time around. The very first time around. So what would happen if you got someone to click on an ad, opt in, register for a call or buy a product? What would happen next? What would be the very next step? Continue to build that journey out. How many things can you sell them? How many things can you bundle them? What can you do as the next journey? How long are you going to wait in between these next pitches? Notice that's going to create your remarketing campaigns. That's going to create the ongoing conversations. That's going to create the second part of the system. Now, as long as you can focus on the avatar first and then the design second, then this build out is going to be so simple for you. The hard part is the avatar, choosing exactly what goes where, getting the challenges, the values, right? Doing all that stuff. That's really the time consuming part. When you get to this part, everything's pretty much done for you. And stage 4 now, or step 4, is going to be taking what we just took, being able to say, okay, stage 1 through stage 5, all the levels of content, where's that going to go inside my advertising system, right? Where's it going to go? We've got everything written and created in your pages and the copies done, integrations are set up. But how do you actually track this and set this for a follow-up so that you're not losing out on your marketing dollars? Well, number one, you have to set up the pixels, which we're going to go to in a second. You have to make sure all this is good to go. Because without the tracking, without the ability to know where everybody's going, you won't be able to trigger the right piece of content. So notice stage 1 and stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4. Stage 5, they're all getting separate pieces of content. And it's all triggered based off of their behavior. And it's excluded based off their behavior. So, as an example, if you want to run traffic to just cold traffic, you do not want to include everybody who's also done business with you, right? Or visited your website. You don't want to do that. And vice versa. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but you never really have a way of testing or monitoring anything unless you can measure. And the only way to measure on Facebook, Instagram, Google, anything really online these days is through the pixels. Now, there are many different ways to set this up, and I'm not going to show you how to set up the pixel or how to set up the tracking, but I will share with you that once this whole thing is completed and you do have it intertwined, everyone is popping from stage one to stage two, stage three to stage four, down to stage five. And then you have these separate campaigns that are all being simultaneously ran. And that allows you the freedom to go, okay, I know that each part of my market is going to be hit. I know that they're all seeing the right types of offers. And I know it's all coming from a standpoint that's going to keep my brand integrity strong. Meaning you're not going to be offering a bunch of discounts. You're not going to be the one out there that's saying, hey, buy my stuff. Hey, get my stuff today. Get my stuff today. Oh, why isn't anybody buying from me? It's the same story over and over again from people who market online. It's the ability to connect through value first, right? The ability to connect through value first and then establish what we call your core offer. We call it really an irresistible, intriguing offer, your IIO. We help within about 72 hours of becoming a client. Each one of our clients go through the intake forms that allow us to define the avatar, go through the hook and offer exercise so that each one of the lead magnets are created, each one of the angles are established, and we know who is getting what as a solution and the projections that are attached to each one of those lead magnets. We go over all that in the first 72 hours with becoming a client. So it doesn't take a long time. I mentioned that because I don't want you to feel like it's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks to get these numbers. It doesn't. You can actually establish those benchmarks up front before you ever run a campaign. I actually encourage you to, because when you do, you're going to allow yourself the opportunity to save money. At the beginning of this, there was that slide about burning some cash, right? When you have something set up like this, that's the opposite of what you're doing. You're not burning any cash. So, again, before you start marketing, I hope this isn't too basic for everybody. Just want to reassure you that before you start marketing, you want a few things in place. First, the content. Second, the follow-up system. Third, the installation of the pixels. Start by adding the pixels from Facebook and Google. Test the funnel in custom events. I can't stress that enough. Don't just put something in there and create it and then go, oh, I'm gonna push this to the market. Don't be that guy. Don't be that person. All right. You want to make sure you're testing your stuff. And then number two, build retargeting approach based on the strategy from step two and the answers from step one. Like we just said, everything you're going to be talking about throughout that avatar build out is going to give you all the ongoing conversations that you need for your remarketing setup. Now, when we get to the build out, of course, the next step is going to be to tweak and scale. Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of things that you can do to tweak and scale. There's so many different avenues. So, for sake of time, of course, I'm going to share with you a couple of things that you can do to tweak and scale your campaigns once they're up. So, another way that I want to kind of illustrate this is that the sales and marketing systems that we create, they're built up of front end marketing systems and back end sales systems. What we create is think of it like a door that opens up for the marketing. And the moment that they become sales qualified and they're engaging with the sales process, we're closing the door on the marketing side and we're opening the door on the sales side. That's a whole different type of engagement when somebody is actually wanting to do business with you. So think about the marketing side, speaking with the sales side automatically, so that as a small business owner, you don't have to hire a sales team too early. You don't have to scale yourself out of business. And what I love is you could pace your scale. As you grow, you invest what you know you can invest. That way, you're never like a lot of these other companies are like getting 1 million, calls in a week. And like, who really wants that? You know what I mean? Nobody really needs 1 million calls in a week because we can't handle that. What if you could get a system that delivered 3 to 4 new clients every single month? What if you can get a system that delivered, 10 new buyers every single week for products that you were selling? Right. And then you start to scale that as you're like, oh, okay, I got to hire. I've got new operating procedures. I've got new system. I got this. I've got this. And that's all things that we help with our clients as well. So you have to know that there are things that you can really be in control of when you're tweaking and scaling, and things that you really don't even want to deal with because it may cause too much of a havoc. So, with that said, tweak your marketing strategy based on the KPI set by your numbers, calculated in step one. And if you do want any of the gifts that I promised you to get you here, the projection Excel sheet, any of the copy scripts, anything that's going to be giving you guys what you need, just go ahead and email info at the Northwicks and we'll send you off a whole gift and bundle and stuff and be a lot of cool stuff inside there. The only numbers that matter though in the marketing campaigns are the cost per click, the click-through rate, the cost per lead, the cost per acquisition, and the CPMs. And honestly, only one of those actually matter, and that's the cost per acquisition. So, what are you acquiring? Are you acquiring leads, registrants, meetings? Are you acquiring clients and buyers, right? What are you trying to acquire? If you get to that point, now we want to step back into stage one or step one, where we developed that cost per acquisition number. In the first worksheet that we went through in step one, we have that number, that cost per acquisition number. We're in control of that number. By the copy that we're using, the illustration that we have, the targeting, the platform, the angles, the offer, all of that is taking into consideration the cost per acquisition. So we're in control of everything when it comes down to that. When it comes down to cost per click, we're in control of that. The only thing we're not in control of is the cost per impressions. And this is where a lot of marketers end up getting it wrong because they'll end up stopping something even though it's working because it doesn't seem to be working. And typically it's because of the throttling that Facebook or Instagram or these media platforms do. It's just a thing that they do. And throttling is just a marketing term where they literally they'll push on the gas and then they'll stop. Then they'll push on the gas. If you ever seen your marketing accounts, go through and you'll see all of a sudden, like between certain hours, it's like, oh, I all of a sudden got all these leads. And then the rest of the day, nothing. And then, oh, big surge. And then nothing. That kind of stuff is happening all the time. It's because of the throttling that these companies or that the media platforms are doing. So we want to know as business owners, what is it that we can be in control of? And how do we change it? So each one of those metrics right there have an actual outcome that you can do, a lever you can pull to decrease the cost per click, to increase the click-through rate, decrease the cost per lead, decrease the cost per acquisition. And the CPMs we're just screwed with, really, because that's going to be based upon, I'll tell you right now, like, I don't know if any of you were running ads over the weekend, but Mother's Day totally screwed me, right? I don't know if any of you guys felt the same thing. CPMs are through the roof, Mother's Day. Why? Because everybody is marketing their products and their services for Mother's Day. So, I mean, it happens. But you have to understand that so that you don't have messed up expectations and then think that, oh my goodness, my offer didn't work. Oh my goodness, my product's not selling. Well, maybe it has nothing to do with that. Maybe there's just an anomaly going down right now, like an event taking place, and we have to completely disregard that from natural way of doing business. So just something to keep in mind. Now, one of the last slides that we're coming to is still going to be about tweaking and scaling and about getting those numbers to be better. I can't stress it enough. Every week that you're measuring your sales and marketing system, you should be seeing an improvement. Think about it like this. If you're seeing a 2.5% improvement every single week, that's a 10% improvement a month. That leads to over a doubling of your revenue every single year from a 2.5% increase. So we want to focus on these at a granular level, but we want to measure weekly, monthly, and make decisions after we have enough data collected. So the numbers that you're going to use as benchmarks, if they're not just, or if they are just okay, if they're not actually stellar, then there are some things you want to do. Go back to the add to funnel to offer congruency, see exactly what you have to change in your copy, your imagery, or your offer. Go back to test new giveaways. I will share with you inside story 48 different lead magnets I had to create before I found the 5 that I can run to cover the test of time. Like, I got 5 right now that I can run literally year round. And what happens when you have those type of digital assets, you'll always have leads coming in. You'll always be in a position to be able to serve your market. And that is a great feeling. So if your numbers are stale, don't think that it's, the platform. Don't think that it's the market. It could just be your offer. What are you providing them up front as a way of delivering value and establishing that relationship, right? And then test new messaging. Write up new hooks and headlines. We're constantly writing up. I think there's shoot. I mean, we write up so much. I mean, we're writing up copy left and right for all of our clients. And the reason why is because it needs to be done. Every time that you see and measure something and it's dying, you can't just let it die and go, oh, sorry, client, sorry, bank account, bye. You've got to be able to do something about it. And that's what hopefully I'm teaching you guys today is that as you continue to test, as you continue to get in there, you're in control of everything. You got to know that, okay, every 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to be looking. Every 72 hours, I'm going to be making tweaks. Every week, I'm going to be making changes. Every month, I'm going to be seeing an improvement. And by that logic, every year, I should be doubling my business. And that, my friends, is not a bad way to do business. So, in order to make that happen, the stick to the Baylor scale rule is very important. You got to make sure to do that. Red, yellow, green. Basic stuff. Stick that in front of your computer and then look at the metrics that you set. So if you have, as an example, a cost per meeting that you need to hit of $100, the moment that you hop in after 2 days and that cost per meeting is, let's say, $150, well, guess what? Yeah, we're stopping that ad. Yeah, there's no reason to keep going. All right, let's say that we have it at 110. What do? Right? What do you guys do? Do you end up pausing it or stopping it? Right? Is that a red or a yellow at 110? Let me see. Put an R or a Y for anyone who's listening still. Anyone paying attention, right? An R or a Y. If you think that at 110, $10 over our expected projection, is that a red or a yellow? Right? Is that a red or a yellow? Red or a yellow? Yellow. That's right. It is. Seems pretty basic. We want to make sure that we're close. If we're within 10% of this, then guess what? We can go back to the previous slide, see what we need to change, make the adjustments, and then get it to where we need to go. And that is how we want to conserve your ad spend. You don't need to go months with a broken offer. You know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't work, if the message is not right, the market will tell you. There are a lot of very stubborn people out there, right? Some of them, I will say, are clients, yes, but they'll say, you know what? I don't care. I want to run it anyway. You could do that. Me personally, I am a fan of letting the market tell me what they want and then just giving them what they want. So a lot of the times in the beginning, you're going to have a micro budget, less than, I call micro budgets less than 3 grand a month. And that's how I started out too. And you're going to be having that. And you're going to say, okay, look, with this $1,000 per month, how can I get the most from it? Number one, lead gen. Number two, set my metrics. Number three, stick to the red, yellow, green. Because the moment that I have my benchmark and I see it working, anything over that, kick it to the dust. We don't need it anymore. When you do find something that works, you want to make sure that you're scaling without breaking the AI. I'm not sure if you've done any research like that on the past, but when you scale, you're always going to see an increase in cost. But how much you see is going to be very, very dependent on the type of scaling that you choose. And what I wish I could say is that there was a like definitive one way to do it, but there's not. So I do multiple ways, and then we just figure out what works. One of these ways are going to work. It always works. One of these ways always works. So the first thing that you have to do is start scaling up by 10 to 25% each day. Each day, get in there. Usually do it in the morning. So if you're like a early bird riser, whenever you start your day, 9 a.m., whatever, 6 a.m., whenever it may be. But first thing in the morning, adjust the budget to that campaign. So when you got a whole part of your system that's working, boop, don't double it. Just increase it by 10 to 25% each day until it starts to level off. You'll see your cost per acquisition. It'll be like, let's say you're doing like $8 a lead, and then you start to scale it by 10 to 25%. By the time you get it to about 3x what you started at, you'll start to see it probably be at about $12 per lead. But it's okay if you're still profitable, because that extra $4, even though it may have risen, quote unquote, 50%, that particular outcome, if you've made it profitable, will still be profitable to scale. If not, then you know what that ceiling is. And if it's above that ceiling, it's a red, you kill it, and we go back to the drawing board, right? So 10 to 25%. Way number two, scaling wide, duplicate multiple campaigns. So I've done this as well. Instead of increasing that one campaign's particular budget, you would just duplicate the whole thing. Just duplicate the entire campaign and launch that bad boy. That's going to give you to double the budget. So again, if you have a lot of resources, great, scale wide. I find that works fantastically well if you're doing under 10K per month. There is something you have to work with if you're managing campaigns or if you're doing something yourself with over 10K per month, which is called overlap. Overlap is going to penalize you for marketing to the same industry, the same interest in the same ad set. All right. So Facebook's smart, Google's smart. They call that in their key phrases. So there's ways that you will be penalized for doing it over a certain amount of ad spend. But if you're under that ad spend, this is how you turn out those results real quick. All right. Getting you to a point to where now you're at a consistent 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K a month. All right. Now, quick recap. Quick recap is know your numbers and do your market research, or partner with somebody who will. Design the journey to include all the levels of awareness each buyer goes through and match each piece of content to the right level of awareness. Number three, reverse engineer the process so you can build the system from back to front, keeping all the messaging and the offers congruent. Number four, you got to track each conversion. That's the only way for full optimization, and you must follow protocol on all the media applying platforms. You don't want to get your account shut down. You don't want to get penalized for things that you don't have to. I mean, they will literally, like I said, throttle you. There's all kinds of little nuances, like the heavy text rule. They may have taken the heavy text rule out for a lot of things, but you want to keep text really out when it comes to most of it. But there's some that you get away with. So again, there's always these nuances. Tweak only what matters and scale only when you're seeing consistent results. Scale slowly, like we mentioned, 10 to 15%. Don't be afraid of that. All right. So I hope that you guys had a great time today with everything that we went through. That's a big, big thing that we just covered. So I hope you guys found a lot of value in that. And what I'm going to do now is go ahead and let you guys get access to any questions that you have. And then if you have anything that you want to discuss on a more personal basis, you can go ahead and find the link either off to the right, there should be a button, or go to northwicksconsulting.com/schedule now. And I'll help you put everything together. We'll spend more time going through your specific plan. Okay. Everything that we went over today was an overview that I hope would help widen your peripherals and give you the opportunity to say, okay, look, yeah, systems, well needed. Sales and marketing systems, I could put that together. Just need a little bit of help. So we create all the copy, we write and integrate all the landing pages, all the tech stuff, all the maintenance, monitoring, and scaling. Everything that you went over today from stage 1 to stage 5, everything in between is taken care of for you. And before you would ever make a decision, of course, hop onto a call with me where we'll actually create a more custom game plan. So the growth plan that you went over today in the beginning slide, step 1, will actually be created for you. We'll go through your margins. We'll make sure that you do have the type of product, the type of service, the margins attached, the way in which you see yourself growing, and then we want to attach a plan to that. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2016, and we've had success with 98.7% of the clients that we work with. We have a 30-day guarantee, 180-day performance guarantee. Have yet to find anybody that ever offers a 180-day performance guarantee on their stuff. So if you'd like to get a more in-depth breakdown, I'd be happy to sit down with you. All you got to do is find the button around here, click on that, and then make sure to schedule the call with me. If there are no more questions, I'll hang on for a couple of more minutes. Hi, Brandon. Okay, 1 second. Hey, Don, thanks for joining today. I do. I definitely recommend that if it is less than $1,000 per month, that you can get some stuff going on your own. But when it comes to hiring help and it comes to getting the results that really are going to make you happy from getting that help, I find that $1,000 is pretty much the minimum, because anything less than that is going to prevent someone like myself from getting the data needed in the required time frame. And that's really what we're looking for in the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. We're gathering as much data as possible. And then me and my team and the client, we're always meeting every week. And we're going over the strategy. We're going over what the data means, how to tweak, what's the required agenda from each client, right? So that's what we would want to focus on. Yeah, I know I went a long answer there for you, Don, but yeah, $1,000 would be the minimum. Yes, perfect, perfect. And that should get you in a good spot. And then, yeah, even if you wanted to discuss what it would look like and set something up for later down the road, feel free to schedule. I appreciate sharing what I can with everybody who showed up today. I do these trainings probably about once every couple months, probably going to do them a little bit more maybe, but I do appreciate everyone for showing up today. And if, yeah, oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I appreciate everybody. And then, yeah, try and schedule a call. If not, then I will see you guys on the next training. See some emails from me coming around, and have some fun, kick some butt, and have a great, great rest of your day, everybody. Take care.